There is such an ecstasy in the submission and orphan-like leaning on the right arm of the Mevlevi dervish performing the whirling dance. The whirling dance is impressive because even a person without the slightest knowledge of Mevlevi teachings and practices immediately perceives that the whirling dance indicates an entirely different world. In fact, the whirling dance and Mevlana are the door opening to a truth beyond our known and accustomed worlds. Come, let's try to open this door part way. There is something hidden in every human being's heart, given the name of secret according to Mevlana and Islamic Sufism. There is a secret that turns in our heart. Everything created is connected to that secret. Even this sky, in layers, turns because of this. This secret is not given to every person. It can only be reached by lengthy efforts and kind deeds. This secret is what the great Turkish mystical poet Yunus Emre meant when he said, "There is a self in me, within myself." Indian philosophy and mysticism gave the names of sublime self, or Atma, to this secret. The expression, "know thyself," in classical Greek civilization, calls people to know this secret self hidden in the heart. Throughout history, the spiritual essence of Judaism, Christianity, and Islamic Sufism have always struggled to make known this internal, unknown self. What we have tried to understand and open up is a secret. Some persons who have reached this secret are tongue-tied because they assume the state of knowing what is not known. As they cannot know what is not known, there are no words to describe it. Perhaps because of this, Mevlana chose poetry, dancing, and music to describe what is undescribable. However, before he was called Mevlana as a title of respect, he was Jalaluddin Rumi. He taught at the madrasa and gave sermons at the mosque. He was a respected, contented Sufi and a very beloved scholar. Mevlana received his first education from his father. After his father's death, he continued with his father's student. He went to Aleppo and Damascus. He talked with the greatest scholars and Sufists of the period. He was moist clay in the hands of these masters. His fate was to enter into the mold of his teachers and to be baked in the oven. He would be alone like everyone while being baked. Finally, when the secret fire that he called the inner love flared up, it would burn to ashes everything he knew as Jalaleddin. Weren't all of these preparations for that moment? According to Mevlana, love is such a strong fire that, other than God, it burns all creatures and their relations and destroys them. This burning is needed to become fully humanized for those who are created from clay and soil. According to Mevlana, the evolution of human beings has not yet been completed because human beings were created to be mature, perfect, and complete. To be the perfect man does not mean to become a person who is good, ethical, philanthropic, and full of love. As long as there is the ego, even to think that we can have these attributes is to deceive oneself, because the ego cannot see beyond its own selfish and urgent interests. To be the perfect man means to abandon all known positive and negative feelings and habits, and to take on the unrecognized and unknown consciousness and essence different from the ego. This change starts in the heart of persons with the shining of the divine fire and light. This is a complete transformation in the mind, in the brain cells, and in the atoms of the body. This is a transformation into an existence where the body becomes lighter and transparent. The curtain is raised. The views become definite. Everything is seen and known, and is an existence that can exist everywhere. According to the mystical currents, it is possible for human beings to be everything in a completely different dimension of consciousness. When a seed or pip is broken, there appears to be nothing inside. However, this nothing is the essence of a tree. Thus, just like this, billions and billions of years ago, prior to the Big Bang, nothing was the essence of everything. This situation, for which no rule or law of physics works, is called in Sufism personal destiny, which cannot be comprehended by any human being, or the hidden abode of God Almighty. God, within the complete solitude of this abode, when it was a secret treasure, turned to himself and watched the magnificence of the essence. He loved this essence and spread love. He wanted this perfect treasure to be known and created the light and shape of himself. This was a complete shape that reflected the godly consciousness. The Islamic religion calls this the light of Muhammad, but what is meant is the light of all the prophets and the saints of Buddhism, Christianity, and Sufism, and the light of the perfect man. This godly light that is formed with the divine laws cannot even be imagined, and is the essence of all creatures and the everlasting flame of life. We cannot recognize this essence that has the flawless shape of God with our existing senses. It is not like any sort of substance that can be touched and seen. There is also the spiritual existence of human beings within this light. God, when He wants something to become, says, "Be," and it immediately becomes. This "be" command has been given to the shape of God, the Almighty Spirit, in the world that is the abstraction of the abstract. The Almighty Spirit received the command, descended, and the universe started to form. Within the first second of this bang, atoms were formed, and with the uniting of the atoms, the suns, stars, and the worlds were composed. The Almighty Spirit descended from the Supreme Being to the world of nature, and entered into substance. However, only human beings were created in the shape of God. That is, God gave human beings a soul from Himself. Briefly, human beings have a spiritual structure that is not part of this world and universe. According to Sufism, this spirit forms the real self of human beings, and it descended by degrees to this universe from other worlds, from the world of spirits and angels, and it became apparent by wearing the bodily apparel of this world and universe. It is very natural for the spiritual presence not belonging here to yearn for its homeland. Human beings equate themselves with their own body in the concrete world, and there is actually the longing of separation behind the yearning felt for goods, property, position, fame, and power. One day this pain of separation envelops and embraces the self so much